Okay, so we're going to again practice standard algorithm, and you'll notice this time there is no hangman. We create the box, but with no long line going down. So what we are still going to do though is we're going to continue to create our box for our skip counting. And again, we have a parking lot that we're going to work with. And so again, on this one, we're going to start with our 72 in here. And then we are going to skip count by 72. And my parking lot is going to be a great way for me to practice doing it. Now, these might be ones that you saw last week, these exact numbers, but we're applying the standard algorithm to this. So 2 plus 2 is 4, and 7 plus 7 is 14. So then we have 144. And we're going to continue putting in more. So we'll just continue adding by 72. So 4 plus 2 is 6. And 4 plus 7 is 11. And so then our next one is 216. And at this time, we know that we're going to continue going up to about 5, but should we need to do more, we can. If you run out of room in your parking lot, you know that you can just find some more space on your paper. But remember, the rule of thumb is please do not put it in your working space over here. So 6 plus 2 is 8, 1 plus 7 is 8, and then 2 is 288. And then we're going to finish, we're going to do one more. And we may see that it's not enough. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So we're at 360. So we're going to do a check here and then see if we need to keep going because we want to be close to that number. So we begin over here. I'm going to change my color to red. And we ask ourselves, how many times does 72 go into 5? That step is not changed. It does not. How many times does it go into 59? It does not. And then we go to 590. And the problem is over here, we don't have any that is close enough. So that tells us we need to go back to adding. So we go back over here. We're going to continue with our adding. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 7 is 13. Carry the 1. So we have 432. So we are getting closer, but it's still not close enough. It looks like I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to write it right over here. 432 plus 72. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 7 is 10. And carry the 1, and that makes it 5. Excuse me, I'm so close to the bottom here. That's 5, and that's a 0, and that's a 4. So let me put that in there, 504. Even though we're in the 500s and we're looking for 590, I always like to go to make sure that we try out every single angle. So I'm going to squeeze it over up here on the top. I'm running out of space. If I wasn't limited to this little space, I would write it down below over in this area. So as I continue, I see that 4 plus 2 is 6. 0 plus 7 is 7. And 5 plus 0 is 5. So we have 576. Now I'm going to check to see how many times that I've actually done this. If I'm at 9, then I know that that's my number to stop at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I actually have one more to go. And because of this, I'm going to stick it right down here in this corner. 576. And it may not show up because I am at the end of my screen. 6 plus 2 is 8. And 7 plus 7 is 14. Carry the 1. So it looks like I'm at 648. So I know that I've gone as far as I possibly can go. And it looks like the best choice for this particular one is 576. So I'm going to write it right underneath that. 576. and 6, making sure my lines are lined up, my numbers are lined up completely. I'm going to subtract. So I can't take 6 away from 0, so I go next door. I have to get an 8 here. Excuse me. And that makes that 10. So 10 minus 6 is 4. And it's hard to see it, but that's an 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. So now I check 14 is smaller than 72, so I know that I've done my problem right. But one thing I forgot to do, and it's very important that we do before we drop down the next number, is that I write what that number is. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I skip counted by 8. So I'm going to put 8 right up there. And now I can bring down my 6. How many times does 72 go into? Let me change the color. How many does 72 go into 1? It cannot. How many times does it go into 14? It cannot. How many times does it go into 146? And the closest is going to be 144. So that is my second on the skip counting. So I'm going to put a 2 here. And I'm going to put my 144. And then I'm going to subtract it. And I come up with a remainder of 2. Now again, to check this, I should take my quotient, which is my answer to my division problem, which is right here, and I would multiply it times 72. And I'm going to add my remainder, and it should equal, now understand it should equal back to my total original number, which is 5,906. So let's try that out. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 8 is 16. If I do not know my skip counting, I should get if I don't know my multiplication, I should do my skip counting. I'm going to change the 7 to a blue. 7 times 2, oh, don't forget that 0 on that second row. 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1, and 7 times 8 is 56. Plus 1 more is 57. So let's see how we do. We come up with 4, 10, carry the 1, 9. Sorry, that wasn't a very good 9. And a 5. Now the problem is, I'm going to fix that 9 real quick. The problem is that that is not even the correct answer here, but we have to remember to add the remainder. So I add 2 to the problem, and I come up with 59. Then I have my 0, and then I have my 6. So the total answer is 5,906. And that matches the original 5,906.